Welcome to CosmoCake, a cozy corner of the cosmos where stories are baked with stardust and heart. Here, every zodiac sign finds a slice of comfort, reflection, and connection. Stories that feel like they were written just for you. Today, we unfold the story of the Virgo, the sign of quiet strength, patience, and graceful purpose. This story is called The Library of Lost Light, a tale of a girl named Hazel, whose devotion and clarity bring order back to a forgotten world. So take a breath, settle in, and let the stars hum softly around you. Because this story begins where silence meets memory, and where even dust remembers light. The Library of Lost Light. The rain had stopped just as Hazel reached the hilltop. Before her stood the old Asterian library, once known across the realms as a sanctuary of wisdom, a place where knowledge had a heartbeat and every page shimmered faintly with magic. Now it stood silent. The carved oak doors were swollen with age, and vines crept over the walls like the hands of time refusing to let go. The air was cool and heavy with the scent of parchment and rain. Hazel stood still for a moment. Her cloak was damp, her boots muddy, but her gaze was calm and unwavering. No one had asked her to come. She had simply heard that the library was dying, its light fading, its order lost, and she could not bear the thought of it being forgotten. She pressed her hand to the door, whispering a silent promise in her heart. The door creaked open, almost in recognition, and she stepped inside. The vast hall glowed faintly with dust-speckled light. Shelves leaned crookedly, scrolls lay scattered, and ink stains darkened the marble floors. The chandelier above flickered weakly, as if remembering brighter days. In the corner of the main desk, she noticed a bent golden quill and a single parchment beside it. On it, someone had written with fading ink, "When the library forgets itself, someone must remember for it." Hazel traced the words with her fingertips, feeling their quiet plea. She took off her cloak, set down her satchel, and began. Days blurred into weeks. Hazel worked tirelessly, though never hurriedly. She organized shelves by the pulse of the magic within each book. She repaired torn bindings, dried damp pages, and recorded every symbol she could not understand. Some scrolls hummed faintly when touched. Others whispered forgotten spells. Some were blank, as if waiting for someone to remember what they once held. Every morning, Hazel lit her lantern and murmured softly to herself, "Let there be order." And each night she fell asleep between stacks of half-restored books, her lantern flickering beside her like a patient star. But the deeper she delved, the more peculiar things became. One twilight, as she was sorting the astronomy section, a particular book refused to stay on the shelf. No matter how many times she placed it, it slid back onto the floor. Its cover bore the title The Atlas of Forgotten Constellations. Hazel opened it carefully. The pages were mostly blank, except for a single glowing line in faint golden ink. "Restore what's been lost, and you will find what you seek." Her brow furrowed. "What I seek?" she thought. But no answer came. Turning the next page, she found a delicate sketch, a constellation unlike any she had ever seen. It felt familiar in a way she couldn't explain, like a memory from a dream. That night, Hazel climbed the spiral staircase to the highest dome of the library. The glass above was cracked and dusty, but through it she could see the stars, countless, steady, watching. She sat cross-legged on the floor, tracing the mysterious constellation in her notebook, trying to connect its meaning. The stars seemed to respond, faintly shimmering brighter as she drew. And in that moment she understood something. The library's chaos wasn't mere neglect. It was trying to speak. Every misplaced book, every blank page, every flicker of light was a puzzle, pieces of a design waiting for someone patient enough to see its pattern. From then on, Hazel no longer worked mechanically. She listened. She watched. She allowed herself to feel what the books were trying to say. Whenever she placed a book where it truly belonged, a thin golden thread of light formed, connecting one shelf to another. As weeks passed, those threads multiplied, weaving through the aisles like veins of starlight. The library was remembering itself. And as it did, Hazel's heart began to ease. The restlessness that once haunted her, the endless urge to fix and perfect, softened into something purer. She realized she wasn't here to control the chaos. She was here to guide it home. Her lantern glowed brighter with every small victory. The whispering books began to hum in harmony. The air warmed with an ancient pulse. One evening, she found herself in the deepest chamber of the library. a place she hadn't yet explored. There, resting on a stone pedestal, lay a great ledger bound in silver thread. The master record, she realized, the book that listed all others. Carefully, she turned its pages until she came across a gap, a missing entry. Beneath the empty line was a faint trace of golden ink, just visible enough to read, "Caretaker of the Lost Light, Hazel." Her heart stilled. The letters shimmered gently, as if breathing. She reached out, her fingertips trembling, and touched her name. Instantly, her lantern flared, filling the chamber with radiant white fire. The light rushed outward, spreading through every corridor, every shelf, every golden thread she had restored. Books lifted into the air, pages fluttering like wings. The library filled with voices, ancient, kind, and grateful. The guardians of wisdom had awakened. They spoke without sound, yet Hazel could feel their words within her. Gratitude, peace, remembrance. And then, one by one, they faded into light. When the brilliance subsided, the library stood whole again. Not flawless, but alive, breathing, complete. Hazel stood in the middle of it all, her expression calm but radiant, her lantern dimmed to a warm golden glow. For the first time, she felt that quiet fullness that comes not from perfection, but from purpose fulfilled. She smiled softly. The work was done. In the months that followed, travelers began to speak of the Asterian Library once more. They said its lights guided wanderers home through fog. They said its shelves whispered truths to those who sought them. No one knew who had restored it. But sometimes, between the pages of old books, they found a pressed violet, Hazel's quiet mark of care. And those who stayed long enough to read under the warm lanterns swore they could sense a presence moving gently among the aisles. Not ghostly, but kind. The presence of a Virgo heart, devoted, patient, steadfast, bringing order not to control, but to heal, turning chaos into calm, and teaching the stars to shine again. That was the Library of Lost Light, a story of Virgo strength, the kind that mends, organizes, and restores with quiet grace. Did you feel Hazel's calm in your heart? Did her journey remind you of your own patience, your love for detail, your way of creating peace out of disorder? Tell us below, what part of Hazel's story touched you the most? And if you're from another sign, did you still see a reflection of yourself in her light? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to CosmoCake, where every week we share another zodiac story filled with warmth, wonder, and meaning. Next up is the story of Libra, the sign of balance, beauty, and connection. Stay tuned. Your next cosmic slice is already baking.